What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna give you my top 5 ranked builds that I've been tinkering with for about the last 3 or 4 hours or so, and these are the guns that I will be using for ranked play. Most of these builds I am running assault gloves, covert sneakers, EOD padding. The only other glove I will be using is the marksman glove for my assault rifles. I'm running trophy system on every single build, and I'm going to be running the Renetti. This muzzle is G8 in the Pro League, so you want to just put on this hole punch breacher. Then you're going to add on the MLX short competition barrel. Next, you're going to throw on a slate reflector. And lastly, you're going to want to use the EXF Eclipser grip. I did throw on this muzzle just because I feel like it works out a little bit better. It feels a little bit nicer in my hands. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the classes. Firstly, we're going to go over the MCW, and I tried using this new one, the Jack BFB, and honestly, it made the gun a complete laser. I didn't even have to control my recoil at all, but the problem with it was the gun was way too slow, so my gun wasn't getting up fast enough in my first few ranked games, so I didn't end up doing too well. I ended up going with the T51R belated break. I know a lot of people like to use the L4R flash hider, but just for me, the belated break is a lot better in my opinion. Next, the bread and butter, we're going to put on the 16.5 MCW Cyclone long barrel. Not much has changed about this one. This is just the best barrel in my opinion. Then you're going to want to throw on the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop. Like I said, the gun before it was a little too slow. Put this on, the aim down sight speed and your sprint speed is a lot faster, and it works with your recoil. And then you're going to want to throw on whatever optic you want to use. I like using the slate reflector. I just feel like it keeps the enemy in picture. I was using the Night Arm model for a little bit, but the MK3 reflector is also a good choice. Lastly, you're going to want to put on the RB Claw PSL grip. Instead of having the stock, because the stock had just gotten nerfed, my brother still uses the stock and he ended up dropping like a 35 kill game the other day. So it's not bad to use the stock, but in my personal opinion, the RB Regal Heavy stock was nerfed way too hard. And then if you just throw on the RB Claw PSL grip, it just gives you recoil control with none of the negatives. And that's going to be the MCW build, so go ahead and take a screenshot, go ahead and do whatever you got to do. But this build is one of my favorite builds to use. Obviously, it's the most meta weapon in the game. The next weapon we're going to be covering is the Rival 9. This is one of my favorite SMGs in the game. It's not my favorite though, it's one of them. Firstly, you're going to want to put on the Purify Muzzle Brake S, just because you want that horizontal recoil control and the aiming stability, just because when you're shooting the gun, you don't want it to be moving. You don't want your iron sights to be moving as you're shooting the gun. We're going to go ahead and throw on the Rival C Clear Shot barrel. This is what everyone's using. This is the best one in my opinion. Then you're going to want to throw on the DR6 hand stop, just because you want the movement. I would advise against using the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop, but you know, it's up to preference. If you guys need a little bit more recoil control, you can. I just like DR6 hand stop because you move so fast and it's really hard for people to hit you. And you're going to want to throw on the MTZ Marauder stock. This is what every pro is using. More gun recoil control, gun kick control, aiming idle stability. And then lastly, you want the Rival Vice assault grip. Same thing as the stock, gives you that recoil control. This gun shoots really good close range. I wouldn't try shooting long range with it, there's just no point, but medium to close, really good. The next build we're going to be going over is the striker build. I made this build up myself and it's been working really well for me so far. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to throw on the T51R belated break. Obviously, it's one of the best muzzles in the game. Like I said, I tried the Jack BFB on the SMGs as well. It's just not for me. For the barrel, you're going to throw on the striker stubby barrel. I know a lot of people like throwing on the recon long barrel for the bullet velocity and the idle sway, but me personally, if I'm going to use the SMG, I'm going to be up in your face, so I like the sprint to fire and the ADS speed on this one. Then you're going to want to throw on the DR6 hand stock. Same thing, you want to be up close and personal, you want to be shooting them in their face. But here's where things get a little bit different. I know a lot of people use the Crotalis assault stock, but in my personal opinion, I like the Lashman Nemesis 10 stock just because it gives you more ADS speed. It does hurt your recoil and gun kick control a little bit, but I personally think that the benefit is way better. Then you're gonna have the slate reflector. If you don't want to throw on the slate reflector, you could throw on probably the Sakin ZX grip to get that recoil control, but in my personal opinion, when I shoot this gun, there's like no recoil anyways. I'm barely moving my stick down. Look, obviously long range, I'm not gonna hit every shot, but I hit like the first 4 on that back there. I don't know, I just feel like this build, the striker coming up this quick and being able to still beam at this distance, makes this one of the better guns in the thing. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of that build. Next gun we're going to be using is the SVA 545. I actually got this build. This is my favorite AR to use. I got this from one of my buddies. He showed me it and I just been rocking with it. So for this one, I've been using the L4R flash hider. I have not been using the T51R belated break just because I feel like the recoil control and the gun kick on this, just everything being even, is a lot better than the belated break because this one takes away from your horizontal recoil, and essentially I like having the horizontal recoil with a buff. The Jack BFB is great, but it makes your gun too slow, like I said. Next, you're going to want to throw on the STV Precision Barrel. This is going to give you bullet velocity and recoil control. My buddy wanted me to use the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop. This is one of the better ones. As always, I was going to throw on the DR6 hand stop, but I needed that vertical recoil and gun kick. And for the stock, we're going to want to run the main B6 stock just for the gun kick and recoil control. Look at that gun kick control. It's 21%. Really good. And lastly, you're just going to want to put on whatever optic you want to use. I still like the slate reflector, best one in my opinion. Alright, the last gun we're going to go over is the WSP Swarm, and in my opinion, this is my favorite submachine gun to use. I got this off a YouTuber, and I don't exactly remember who the YouTuber was, but I love this build. For the muzzle, he goes Jack BFB, the one with the 3 stripes, kind of like the Adidas sign, not the one with the holes, just because this one, it gives you the most recoil control. Right here, we're going to put on the long barrel, obviously for the bullet velocity and more recoil control. For the underbarrel, this is where we start to get some of the ADS speed back, and it's still working towards our recoil control and gun kick control. We lose a little bit of horizontal recoil, but that's okay. Just throw on the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop. For this one, you're going to want to throw on the FSS Fortress heavy stock, and lastly, you're going to throw on the Marauder grip. Now, I know we lost a lot of ADS speed, but I'm going to go into the range and just shoot with this gun and show you guys exactly what kind of damage you could do. It's the Swarm. ADS speed is not too slow. Be very close range with it, but it's still very accurate. As you guys can see, it's just a little bit of a kick, but not too much. Let's see if I could go get that last bot on the end of the range. Let's see. Alright, I mean, we used the whole clip, but we got him. So, with that being said, this is my favorite SMG to use, especially because I like being in people's faces. I just personally think it's really strong, and it's one of my favorite guns to use in Warzone at the moment. But yeah, with that being said, these are the 5 classes I'm going to be using for ranked. Hopefully you guys found this video informational. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm posting ranked gameplays every single day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Find the best friend of the world.